Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Radiant Black Spotlight here at San Diego Comic Con. I am your host, Megan Camarena, and I am also the host of Radiant Radio, which we do once a month over on twitch.tv/strawberry17 plays, where we dive deeper into the universe of Radiant Black. And as you can see, I'm joined by a bunch of amazing, awesome, wonderful people that help make Radiant Black happen, and I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm Kyle Higgins. I am the writer and co-creator of Radiant Black.
I'm Michael Busuttil. I am the series editor and designer.
Hi, I am Marcelo Costa, and I am the artist of Radiant Black.
Hey guys, I am Eduardo Ferigato. I draw issue 5 of Radiant Black. And I'm also here to help Marcelo translating the discussion for him.
Yeah, so throughout the panel, Marcelo and Eduardo will be going back and forth to, give you the translation. So let's dive right in, guys. How did this get started? How did everyone come together?
Well, the project really started, I apologize, I'm having headphone difficulties, but the project really started kind of in spirit when I was doing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And just from an aesthetic influence standpoint, as well as meetings, 3/4 of the creative team really came about through my time on the book. Matt Groom and Michael Busuttil run a Power Ranger podcast called Ranger Danger. And so I'd started doing interviews with them, and then we just got along really well, and we just started talking all the time. And through that friendship, as well as creative partnership with Matt, I started to learn more about tokusatsu outside of the American, adaptation that was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And just discovering something new as someone in their 30s who's grown up with and loved superheroes his whole life was really awesome. To be a fan of something again, and then that coupled with doing Ultraman for Marvel with Matt, and feeling like I had something else in me, building out an original superhero project. I wanted to do something that wasn't kind of inspired by, like I said, some of the stories that I was finding, as well as different ideas, I was having on my own as a result of Rangers. And originally was thinking about doing something, a little mini series that was set far in the future. And the publisher of Image Comics, Eric Stevenson, texted me one day. We were going back and forth about something. He goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, have I ever talked to you about like an original superhero book?" And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, "Well, would you want to do one? Not like a Batman or Superman analog, but like something like really fresh and new." And I thought to myself immediately, it was like, well, yeah, I mean, I would kill to do something like that, but I assume there's no market for it. And he goes, "I think there could be." And so I told him, I was like, well, I have this thing, and I was thinking about doing it for 6 issues way in the future, but I love the iconography, and I love the title, which is Radiant Black. And so at that time, actually, even when it was originally a 6-issue thing, Eduardo and I were talking about it because it was so crazy and wildly different. And then from that minute, when it was like, I want to do it right now, is when kind of everything started to coalesce. And Marcelo, I met through Eduardo, and Eduardo was the artist on Self-Made. Well, he did some pages on Hadrian's Wall and then Self-Made, which Marcelo colored. And my editor on Rangers, Daphne Plebin, loved Marcelo's colors so much that she said, "I'm going to steal him." And then she did. And so she started hiring Marcelo to color Power Rangers issues. So Marcelo and I actually worked on some Power Rangers together. And then it turns out Marcelo is a fantastic illustrator, and he loves Sentai. And so from that moment, we were kind of off to the races, and Michael came on, and it was Michael's kind of, he wrote a mission statement at one point about the design aesthetic and what this book should be and how it should be looking forward, and it should be right now, and it should be reflected in the design that way as well. And again, we are very much the greater than the sum of our parts, down to the epic trailer that you just played, Megan. Eduardo did all the storyboards for that.
Wow.
and Marcelo then did the finished art. Well, Marcelo, you did some storyboards too towards the later stages of it, but it really is this kind of family collective group effort. And that it's just, I feel very, very honored and lucky to be a part of it.
You've been in comics for a long time, Kyle, and there's something that I don't think a lot of people know about you. You're just such a great producer. You're really great at bringing people together, and you're always, telling stories for other people's IPs. And this is the first time I feel like we're really getting to see you shine with like your own idea. This is like you're not having to report to anyone to be like, hey, no, I don't think this is gonna pass legal. We're not able to do this. You're able to basically assemble your own team, hire your friends to do stuff, and just make it the way that you want. And this probably has felt like a really long time coming, right?
He does have to report to me. Is the thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And you are
Kyle,
a
I was
very
trying to help you out.
You are a very strict taskmaster. We have a G-chat thread, and most of the time Michael's asleep when we're all awake because he lives down under. And we were just talking.
Under the sea, in case for anyone was curious. It's actually a mermaid.
we were just talking right before we started recording about how just this week we almost broke Michael when he woke up to 300 messages and there were added pages on something. But yes, Megan, I do very much feel it's funny. I've never been someone and I don't believe like anything bad that happens to you, there will be people that tell you like, well, one day you'll look back and say that really bad thing was the greatest thing that ever happened to you. And I'm like, no, because it still sucks. Like, guess what? The thing that it blew up, like that thing was great too. Just because what I'm doing now is cool doesn't mean that it didn't suck then, right?
Yeah.
But what I will say is that for me, I do feel like we're very much our product of our experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that I learned from good and bad experience-wise over the last, I've been doing comics full time now for 10 years. And there are things I've learned from that I very much feel have finally kind of coalesced and prepared me for this very series.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's everything from the design to the artwork to the way you guys are handling social media. I feel like Radiant Black is just so it's perfection for me. I mean, I'm a little biased, but it's just like I can see anything online and know like right away, be like, oh yeah, that's Radiant Black. You guys have done a really great job with the branding. And a lot of people don't know about this, but if you go to radiant.black, you also have like music being made for each issue, correct?
Yeah, Sam Ewing, who is the co-composer of The Walking Dead. He's done a lot of work with Bear McCreary, who is one of my best friends. And I've just gotten to know Sam over the years. And we thought, it was kind of like a total, like so much stuff on Radiant Black, down to like even Radiant Radio, Megan, like it comes from like a very simple place, which is, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, and for me, that's like the best part about doing a creator-owned series is how much awesome, cool stuff that we can make just for the sake of, we want to see it be real in the world. And Sam has that, he has a little bit of that DNA in him as well. And so when we first started talking about what could we do musically, it was like, wow, it'd be awesome. What if we did a score concept album? Like each track is for each issue for the first arc. And Sam freaked out over that. And then with issue 3, we even went and recorded a 59-piece orchestra.
Because why not, right? Why
not?
It
was pretty fun. Yeah.
Your comic, you can do what you want. Which is...
I guess Kyle is more than one person.
He
must
is,
be like
right?
triplets or something like that take times.
I just don't
My
know how he
speakers
finds
literally
time in the
cut
day.
out as Eduardo gave me a compliment. That seems convenient.
Michael, coming onto
Yes.
this project, having worked with Kyle in the past, did you realize? Okay, I know. Look at Kyle. Kyle's like, oh shoot, what is she gonna say?
Mhm.
How big this was gonna be? You guys sold an insane amount of copies for your first issue before it was even like released. That was just the pre-orders. The hype around Radiant Black has been kind of insane. And heading into this, Michael, how was that?
I mean, this is my third comics credit, and one of those is like co-writer on an 8-page short, and one of those is designer on a 6-issue mini, and then this is like designer and editor on an ongoing creator-owned book. I feel like as it started to get closer to launch, we all started to feel like we had something.
Yeah.
But I think like it's, you don't ever want to be like, oh yeah, this is an idea that will sell like 300,000 comics, because it just, you never know. And it happens so rarely, but certainly to be like where we are, and issue 1 has gone to 3 printings, maybe 4 by the time this comes out. Issue 2, the same. Issue 3 and 4, we've both reprinted.
Wow.
Like, I could not ever have predicted how big it was going to be. I think part of me did understand that, like, oh, this is the book that Kyle is going to go all out on. And so, like, I'm never surprised when Kyle sends me an email and is like, oh, by the way, here's the first track from Sam. He's doing 6 musical scores for the first 6 issues. It's like, yeah, of course we're doing it. Sure. Yeah, that's happening. That I understand that.
Well, and there's some of that we're going to talk about on this panel today, because we have a few maybe surprise announcements coming up that are very much in that vein.
Yeah.
Love that. Love surprises. Love little special snippets for our Comic-Con guests. I have a question for Marcelo and Eduardo. To be able to show like expression and emotion on a character that has a helmet on can be super challenging. And especially, I'm sure with your experience with Power Rangers, or even just seeing that, I love what you guys have done with Radiant Black and Radiant Red. I feel like I am seeing so much expression and emotion on the pages. And how did you guys like kind of come up with that idea? Was that with you, Kyle? Like, what was that creative process like?
Yeah, I'm gonna translate it to Marcelo, then I can compliment after what he answers, because he is the mastermind behind the design of Radiant Black.
Okay.
Marcelo, ela está perguntando como que você consegue passar tanta expressão através do capacete, né, dos personagens tendo um capacete que você não vê o rosto deles, eles têm tanta expressão, assim, tanto dinamismo. Como você idealizou isso? O visual do Radiant?
Bom, foi mais ou menos uma ideia, nasceu naturalmente, assim. O Kyle dizia que era difícil no Power Rangers mostrar as expressões nos olhos dos personagens, e geralmente tinha que mostrar o desenho por baixo do capacete. Então, eu acabei sugerindo a ideia de que os olhos são brilhantes e eles são por dentro do capacete, mas cada um deles tem um olho diferente. Então, isso possibilita os olhos mudarem, já que eles são luzes, né? Eles não são estáticos, eles são luzes. Então, isso possibilita os olhos aparecerem, né? E ter expressão. É isso.
Você quer dizer a cor dos olhos?
Não, o formato dos olhos.
Eles são, os olhos têm um formato diferente, entendi.
Cada um deles tem um olho diferente, yes.
Yeah, he said that it was hard. It's really hard and to show expressions on a helmet like the Power Rangers. You guys already know that. But in talkings with Kyle, they decided to put the eyes on the helmet, and the eyes are lights inside the helmet. And for each character, the eyes are kind of different, so that they can be distinguishable. And I also think that the body expressions helped a lot on this, but really the eyes are everything on the Radiant Black visuals. And I was joking with Marcelo that he designed it like the iPhone of the Power Rangers, you know? Radiant Black is slick and
Yeah.
Well, we
beautiful
did
design,
have-
simple design,
Yep.
and that eyes, it's amazing.
It's so
So
clean.
There was a process, a design process that Marcelo and I were going through. And I remember the current helmet was one of several options that he had done. And I remember looking at it, and none of them, I don't think any of them had eyes yet, or maybe they did, but the one that we ended up using did not have eyes on it. And I think the way that it was originally drawn with the shadow, it had a shadow on it that made it look like it was all black glass. And I remember saying to you, like, no, that's it. That's the helmet. Do it. Let's do it all solid black, but take the eyes from this other design. And we're going to do like Spider-Man energy eyes, because I did 3 years on a book where you couldn't see expressions, and it almost killed me.
Yeah.
I think
it's
Daniele
really
Di
hard.
Nicolo is very jealous of that that Radiant Black has eyes.
I bet. Oh, we're talking a lot about Radiant Black because obviously it's the comic, but how about we dive a little bit into Radiant Red? That is an exciting addition to the Radiant Black universe. But why tell their backstory? And can you talk a little bit about bringing on Cherish?
Yeah. So issue 6, which obviously just came out, is a look at Radiant Red and who she is and what her life is like, and the events and the context that led to her robbing the bank that we kicked off issue 1 with. So this is a look at Satomi and her fiance Owen. And Satomi is a 28-year-old Japanese American woman. And as we made the decision to, I knew early on that I wanted to do a special spotlight issue here on Satomi, particularly because the first 5 issues are built so much around the idea of the rivalry and the antagonism between Radiant Black and Radiant Red. And why Satomi, and even issue 6 doesn't really get into it other than kind of surface level, but with the additional power of being able to absorb matter and how she helps to hide her identity by basically transmuting it, and she's robbing banks, so passing as a man helps to just one more step to help hide the identity. But as far as who she is and what her relationship is like with her parents, who, just what that dynamic is like. And I really thought it would be fun to bring on a co-writer to help me build this out. And, Cherish is someone that I've known for some time now. And she's just an incredible writer. And I worked on with her on another project that didn't see the light of day, not yet anyway. But again, as I started building this out, I thought, like, you know what? To me, like, one of the things that's so much fun about Radiant Black is it took me 10 years to get to the point where I have a book that, people are buying kind of in these numbers. And a lot of people helped me when I was coming up. And there are people that I feel very indebted to that gave me opportunities when I didn't need to. And it's always been kind of a dream of mine to be able to one day give some of those opportunities as well. And so from the Marshall School of Business backup stories that we do to even doing the Unleashed and Riftside, right?
Which is like, that's my project that I've done with a group of friends, and the writer, Melissa Flores, is writing for the comic. So to see our world show up in a comic book and actually see it like visually, mind-blowing. So thank you, Kyle, for that opportunity.
Yeah, and that applies then too with the spotlight on Radiant Red. And I am not an Asian American. I did not grow up, living with those experiences. And so not only, it was just kind of like a perfect fit where I knew I wanted to do this with Radiant Red. I was working with Cherish on something else, and I reached out and said, would this be crazy? Like, would you have interest in coming in and writing this issue with me? And and she was totally down for it and excited about it. And I think the issue, especially with, oh my God, David LaFuente and Mikel Muerto on colors.
So
I mean,
good.
David has been one of my favorite artists for 10, 15 years since his run on Ultimate Spider-Man with Brian Michael Bendis. Like, so for him to be excited about this and then just knock the pages out of the park, oh my God. It's like I'm just so excited that we were able to make this happen. I don't know, Michael, what's your experience been like, not only with the art on that, but just working with me plus another writer on issue 6?
I mean, I just wanted to say that like working with someone like David, who I like, my Ultimate Spider-Man trades are over in that corner of my room right now.
So cool.
But like, that's one of those things that I had to get used to working with you on this book, is like, one night I get a message from you that's like, I think David would be cool to draw this issue. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. We're never going to get him. And then the next morning I wake up to, yeah, he's in. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah. All right. This is the world we live in now, I guess.
Michael is such like a low-key fanboy, and I absolutely love it. He keeps his cool. I love when you like wear your Hyperforce burrito shirt. Like, I just really appreciate it. And just like, you're just like a true fan, like not a fake one.
I love this stuff.
Yeah.
We have covers in even just the first 6 issues from like 5 or 6 of my all-time favorite artists in comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, I mean, it's delightful. And working with Cherish, I mean, the real advantage of working with Cherish and David and Mikel is being able to build that issue out while we're working on other issues of the book.
Right.
Like, you know, we can get ahead. That issue was written a couple of months in advance. You know, we lose some time as it's being drawn, but like, that issue was done nice and early.
We wrote that issue in December of 2020.
Yeah. And it's been like, we made some tweaks as we went, especially as we like discovered later issues of this first arc of Radiant Black, and we're like, oh, actually it would work better if this happened. But yeah, that's been great. And they are both just I mean, all 3 of them have been phenomenal to work with. It's been a dream, really. Love to have them back at some point.
Yeah, I believe it. Marcelo, I actually have a question for you. We got to see a little bit of Radiant Red, Pink, and Yellow. Whoa!
É.
We got a family now. It's getting bigger.
Wow.
You know what I mean. Families.
You haven't read issue 7 yet.
They have no. Could we talk a little bit about where their looks come from, their style, because every Radiant looks very unique to them. I feel like you can touch on that a little bit.
Did you get that, Marcelo? The question?
A little. Bom, os outros Radiants são bem diferentes do Black, né? Cada um tem sua origem, sua etnia diferente. Isso aí vai ser mostrado com o tempo. E, cara, eu adoro eles, e é legal como cada um tem um estilo diferente, mesmo tendo os olhos diferentes e tal. Mas é isso, eles são... Não posso falar muito, na verdade. Não sei se o Kyle deixa falar tanto assim.
He doesn't know if Kyle will allow him to reveal too many things. But he said that he loved the way the Radiants had the diversity. He respected diversity and all their visuals and the things that make them different from one another, their stories. I guess he wanted to talk about some things that we were discussing this week, but I guess not. I guess Kyle won't let us.
Kyle, please, can we like get a hint maybe at the powers, the inspiration?
That we can do.
Oh, yeah?
Tem uma história interessante sobre as cores do Yellow e do Yellow e Pink. É que a Pink era Yellow e o Yellow era green. Então a gente mudou, porque o yellow não ficava bem de verde, green.
I don't even speak Portuguese, but I know what he's talking about right now. I know the
Yes,
story.
yes.
You got it. You're learning Portuguese. You're smart.
Is he asking? He's telling the story about how one was the original color designs, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
how you guys
yes.
changed the colors from yellow. It was supposed to be green, but you guys changed it to yellow.
Yes. I love was pink was yellow, but green, né? Yellow is better. It's much better.
Yeah, the original designs, actually, Michael and I went back and forth on that a little bit too.
Yep.
When the character sheet came in of all four together, the green version actually for me was like, I mean, I know there are other colored green, like there are blue lanterns, there are red lanterns, there are yellow lanterns, etc. But the green one was so like, there's no way this guy isn't just confused as to be a Green Lantern. Like, I just don't
So
like if
green.
you see him solo, you know.
Ah, that's true.
Yes.
But the other thing too was that while he provided more color balance across the spectrum, because he's on the colder side of things, I actually felt like it started to look like Skittles a little bit. And so swapping him for yellow, and it was even the tone, we kept things more on the warmer side, so they do feel a little bit more harmonious. That was my intention anyway with that decision, I guess. But Michael, I remember you liked the balance of having a cooler, you know, in the greenish, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's been so long now that I can't imagine us having done them the other way.
Yeah.
It's like, this is just, he's radiant yellow. Like, he would never, how could he have been anything else? But we went back and forth on it.
And what we can say, we can talk about the powers. So
Okay.
the idea behind these has always been in my mind that they all have enhanced strength, some defensive capabilities, some protections that the suit allows for, as well as energy manipulation. So they can all do a form of energy blasts. Marcelo designed each energy blast around one extra unique characteristic that each of the four have as well.
Oh.
So each of the four have a characteristic and ability that the other three can't do. So Radiant Black can manipulate gravity, so he can fly, right? And he can raise other things and other people, and we've seen him do this. Radiant Red can absorb matter. Radiant Pink can teleport, and Radiant Yellow, well, you may have to wait to see what Radiant Yellow's power is. You may have to wait to see, because it's wild.
It's the most complicated.
But also, if you're paying attention, you might pick up on the fact that gravity, absorption of mass or matter, teleportation, all of these things could be grouped under the category of
Black hole stuff.
black hole
Cool
stuff.
stuff. Yeah. Oh, okay. Got it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
So even the powers, like if you look at Pink's energy, it's more crackly, and it's definitely a little bit more
Regular.
yes, yeah,
Irregular or regular?
Yes.
irregular, yep,
Yeah.
Irregular.
yeah. Red feels forceful, you know, when red blasts, when Satomi does energy blasts, they're like boomerang shaped, they're just like blunt force, you know. And obviously there's that really sick mecha that we saw her in issue 5. Where did that come from? I don't know. And Radiant Black has a cape sometimes too. I mean,
There's a lot going on.
I wonder if
Kind
those
of
are
Kind
somehow
of a glimpse of something, right?
going in
Yes.
that direction.
Yes, maybe. I don't know. I mean, Michael said no, so we can't talk
I
about
did.
it.
So fun.
Can't talk about it.
Michael,
Gotta
I
keep some secrets.
Michael, why did you not say no to killing the main character? This is what everyone's really. wondering.
Okay, I can answer that.
Yeah, please. Step up to the plate.
Because it wasn't pitched to me as let's kill Nathan. It was let's kill Nathan, and then here is the 2 years of story that comes out of what happens when we do that. Like it all made sense. It was a more interesting version of the story, and
also
it would upset people.
And technically, he's back. He's in a coma.
It's real bad.
There's no signs of brain activity, but he's
not technically dead yet.
Again,
Comics. It's comics.
he was dead. I mean, his heart stopped, and it was for more than 5 minutes. And clinically, I mean,
it's real rough, but it's not over yet.
Yeah. So
it's funny that on the issue that the protagonists die after Marcelo had an accident and he had to be replaced in issue 5, right?
Do you know this story, Megan?
No.
So Marcelo, the deadline on issue 4 was very tight already, and Marcelo got sick and then tried to make up the time to crush the deadline, because we also knew that the solicit for issue 7 that would reveal Marshall as Radiant Black, that was going to come out 2 days after issue 4 was coming out. So we couldn't be late. So we had to get issue 4 done. And Marcelo pushed so hard that his hand swelled up the size of a grapefruit, his drawing hand.
Yeah.
And
he got a tentacle on the top of his hand.
He went and got an injection at the ER on Sunday night when the book was due on Monday. He went and got an injection at the ER Sunday night, drew all of Monday, couldn't move his hand, sent us photos, and we went, yeah, you're done. You're done. You're done. Shut it down. And I messaged Eduardo immediately, and Eduardo and I are working on another project together. I don't know if we can say what just yet, Eduardo, but we can say that. But and Natalia, the three of us are on another project together. And so I was like, I need to borrow Eduardo and Natalia for 4 weeks.
We were like, did you see Marcelo's hand? He can't work.
Yeah.
Then we had to make an intervention because he was like, oh no, I can work next week. I just need to rest a couple of days and I'll be fine. And no, you are not fine. You will not grow. You know?
But he did come back and do pages on issue 5, like a true champion.
Yes. Eu tava desesperado para voltar. Eu não aguentava mais ficar parado.
He was desperate to come back. Had to come back to humiliate me in the end. Eduardo is a great artist.
Yes.
So good. This is a wonderful team.
Eu vou perder meu emprego depois que ele terminar 5.
Said he's going to lose his job. He won't.
Well, we have a little bit of time left before we need to wrap things up. And at the beginning, you kind of said you might have a little bit of secrets for us.
That's true. Michael, can we?
Yeah, I mean, we have to.
Okay, let's do it.
All
What do you
right.
want to lead with? Michael, you tee these up.
Okay, so we've done this once or twice before now. The way solicitations work is they come out a couple of months before the book comes out. But what that means is sometimes you haven't gotten up to that point in the story yet. Mm-hmm. And so there are secrets on the covers that will make sense by the time the cover is on the store shelf that don't make sense to tell people 3 months early. Mm-hmm. So we lied to everyone about 2 of the covers of issue 7. Like a lot lie, actually.
You're bastards.
Yeah, we are. Megan, can you pull up the first cover to issue 7, the landscape one by Daniele Di Nicuolo?
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry at all. So this is by Daniele Di Nicuolo and Walter Baiamonte, who are legitimately one of my favorite art pairings in comics of all time.
Me too.
We told you that this was a cover with Marshall as Radiant Black. It's a wraparound cover of the full team.
It's
Daniele
so
and
good.
Walter.
Eating me.
Mm-hmm. And Daniele and Walter, this was a bucket list thing for me. We did all of Power Rangers Shattered Grid together, and so this is the first time we've worked together since. As when
Wow.
I texted Daniele and said, "Hey," I said, "What do you think about a cover?" First reveal of the full team.
It's
So
so
what
good.
we see here, we have Marshall, we have Satomi, who's Radiant Red, and we can exclusively reveal here for the first time Radiant Yellow, who is named Wendell, and Radiant Pink, who is named Eva.
So cool. I just got chills.
Mm-hmm.
Eva
You will
looks
be
find out
learning
great.
more
I
about
love
them as
this.
we go.
I love
Yeah.
the space buttons on Eva. That is a look.
She's all about it. Marcelo, what went into the space bun decision?
Oi, Marcelo, estão perguntando da decisão de uma energia espacial na yellow, na yellow or na yellow
Pink.
or pink?
The hair, the buns of hair and pink.
Ah, os coques na pink. Por que que
Oh,
você...
sim. Eu adoro esse estilo. Eu fiz no concept, fiz vários cabelos e vários estilos, né, de cabelo. E o Daniel fez aquele que é o que eu mais gosto. É um estilo de coque que eu adoro, assim.
Yeah, he said he done a lot of styles of hair, but then he also choose the one that he also loves the most. That
Right.
style of hair.
I like that style too. I think it looks super cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think I could pull it off?
Oh, maybe just on your beard, you know?
Great.
Oh,
The
yeah.
space bun beard. I haven't seen it
That
done
would
before.
be
That would be
swaggiest space
cute.
buns
That's nothing.
of all time. Beard
Megan,
buns?
do you
Beard
want
buns.
to queue up the second
Yourself,
cover that
Michael,
we've
you
got?
can do anything.
Yeah. Michael, put your mind to
Michael is done talking about this, guys. He's
I am.
he's done.
I'm
Megan,
asking
can
you
you
to
save
move
me
on.
right now? He just said.
Please.
Yes, this is the
The C cover, the Trevor McCarthy cover.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyle, you and Trevor have worked together a bunch before.
A lot. Trevor's one of my closest friends, certainly closest friends in comics. All you guys excluded, obviously, because
Sorry.
we're all Radiant over here. But no, Trevor and I, it's funny, we started at DC together. I mean, Trevor came back to DC. He had been drawing Nightwing when I was reading it, like as a teenager. He's a few years older than me. And then when I started DC with the Night Runner origin story, they paired me with Trevor. And it was so much fun, and we hit it off. And we did this book, Gates of Gotham, together. We did some issues of Nightwing together. Then we did the Nightwing the New Order series together. And Trevor's he's pretty much kind of done with comics, at least for now. But I had to get him to do a cover. He does some of my favorite covers in comics. And he has so much energy and such great design sensibilities. And so he really got into this idea of doing something in almost kind of a 2001, kind of like a reverse what you would expect for a big iconic energy shot. And we say that because it works real well as a solo Radiant Black cover, but you know what it works better as? A team up.
A team cover. It's real good.
It looks so good. It's incredible.
So this is a C1 in 25 variant. It'll be a little harder to track down.
Yep.
But it is so good.
And I think we have one more thing that we're
gonna do it.
We can do it. Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay.
I'm not going to give any context for this, for what I'm going to describe, but let's put the cover up.
All right, it's up.
So this isn't a cover by Eleanor Carlini, another one of my favorite artists. Eleanor did a lot of Power Rangers. What's that?
She did the artwork for the Unleashed as well, right?
Yes.
Yes, she did. So she did the artwork for the Unleashed. She also did the first image she did, which looks probably similar perhaps to this cover you're seeing here, she did for Inferno Girl Red.
Oh, wow.
For the Kickstarter that Michael and I are involved with and Matt Groom is writing. I loved that piece so much that I reached out and said, hey, can we hire you to do a matching, like a companion piece for Radiant Black? And she did. And so she asked me, she said, well, where are you going to use it? And I said, at the time, I said, I'm not sure yet, but it'll be somewhere special. And then immediately after that, I went, oh, I know exactly where we're going to use it. So this is the A cover for issue 10 of Radiant Black. And the reason why this issue is so special is because the entire issue takes place inside a black hole. And so we're actually doing the issue with fluorescent inks. Igor Monti is going to be coloring.
What?
And we're going to print the issue as a blacklight comic book.
No way! Guys,
Fingers crossed.
Oh my god. So stressed.
That's
so
the plan.
Stressed.
That's the plan.
That's
the plan.
incredible.
So the logistics of it and the specifics you'll hear more about as solicits come up. I think we're still a few weeks out on solicits for that. But yeah, the plan is to do well, I won't get into, you'll see when solicits come out.
Yeah, that's safe. Well, we have like literally a couple minutes left. Anything you want to tell anyone before we head out?
Well, I guess all I would say is that if you thought the first arc was wild, well,
Year 2, baby.
Yeah, I mean, arc 2 is even more wild, and year 2 is going to put it all to shame.
Wow. Okay.
So
we're having fun.
We are all about taking really big swings over here. And Michael and I talk about this all the time, but I very much feel I feel a sense of responsibility if I'm going to do a creator-owned superhero book, that it is the type of book where truly anything can happen, because there aren't that many there are a lot of superhero books on the stands. There aren't that many where truly anything can happen, but this is one of them.
And make sure you guys follow Radiant BLK on Twitter for all of the latest news, and check out radiant.black for a full list of issues, pre-order links, music, and more. Correct?
Yeah. Oh, we should also say really quickly before we go that issue 7 of Radiant Black and the first trade paperback. So if you haven't read a single issue and you've made it to this point, and you're like, wow, this comic sounds good, I want to go check that out. The first trade paperback, which collects issues 1 to 6, and issue 7 will be on store shelves the same day. That's August 18th, so just a couple of weeks away.
Okay, put that in your calendars, everyone. August 18th. Sweet. Well, that is it. Why don't you guys go ahead and go off in the same order and let people know where they can find you on social media?
So Kyle Higgins, easiest place to find me is at Kyle D. Higgins on Twitter. There's also, if you go to radiant.black/newsletter, you can sign up for Black Market News, which is a newsletter I put out semi-regularly, just with updates, sometimes exclusive drops of like limited items, but also kind of all the projects that we've got going on, and 95% of which Michael's working on.
Yeah, I'm at M_Busuttil, BUSUTTIL on Twitter. My Twitter is 80% just mad ramblings, but if you want that, that's where it is for you.
Ok, Marcelo em Instagram is Marcelo Costa 1977, and Twitter Costa Marcelo 77. It's easy.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Eduardo Ferigato, and also Twitter. If you want to know how to write it, I guess it's already
on the screen. There you go.
Yeah.
And I am everywhere online at Strawberry17, but make sure you check out Radiant Radio on twitch.tv/Strawberry17plays. We do a deep dive into the comic a couple days after it's released. We do that once a month, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're like, man, I want to talk to the writer and the creator, I want to know more about what went into this issue, I need someone to hold my hand because my fave just died, we're here for you and that moral support. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure. Guys, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.